Welcome to the Creative Brew, helping you keep your creative juices brewing. We're giving out chunks of insight, motivation, and practicality for your creative journey. Welcome to a new episode of the Creative Brew, giving you creative insights and practicality to help you with your creative journey. We're here at Panel's Comic Book and Coffee Bar in Oceanside, California. It's right off of Mission Avenue. They have great drinks, great snacks, some of the newest titles and comic books in the area. So please come check them out and support your local business. Today we have Julia with Studio Ace. It is a arts organization here in Oceanside, California, and sort of explain more about Studio Ace and what they do to really help keep arts in the school. And that's something that's I feel is very important. It's very important to me. And I think that sometimes arts can have sometimes get put on the back burner. We've got to be able to keep that platform and allow future creatives to be able to have a space to be able to create those things that may inspire. You know, who knows? It may inspire millions. But I'll let Julia talk a little bit more about Studio Ace and what they do, and we'll go from there.
Fantastic. Great to be here.
Oh, you too. So, just tell everybody, a little bit about yourself, your background, and we'll go from there.
So I'm Julia Pfister. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and raised there and it has it's a great city filled with the arts. So I grew up with, having drawing and music and being able to go to performances and dance class and all that. Then, fast forward, my first degree was actually in finance from the University of North Carolina in Charlotte. And I was an investment banker, actually, for 8 or 9 years. Got a little bored with that. And though I didn't make a lot of money. Like, why didn't I like that? Then went back and got a degree in art from Fontbonne University and concentrating in drawing and sculpture. And then I was a graphic artist for a brokerage firm, so I kind of mixed the two there together. And then in 2001, I moved out to California and got my master's degree in art history from San Diego State.
Oh, wow. One thing when you mentioned sort of transitioning from the financial industry into the creative arts, I find some reason I find that some of the most creative people are in finance, and they feel like it's something a little bit more stable. I know just the whole stigma. I know even my mom, she was like, you're gonna be a starving artist, and and just things like that. So I feel like a lot of people may have sort of just transitioned and went the safe route instead of pursuing what they actually wanted to do.
Exactly.
Was that the sort of the case for you?
Very much so, and a lot of influence from parents that said, this is what you should do, this is how you're going to make a living, this is the best way to do it. But I just wasn't happy, I wasn't fulfilled, and I'd seen both my parents had actually, my dad had shifted through many things. He was in lawyering and banking, but he kept changing. He didn't change to the arts, but still, he's like, you just got to keep pursuing what you love. And so that's really the path that took me on. So I thought it was a natural, and he didn't see it so much that way.
Oh, yeah. It's one of those where I think now, especially now, I think it's more, there's more availability for artists to be able to find something that obviously they love doing, but something that's that helps support them. But I think the whole fear of you want something stable, but are you necessarily happy? And I think that's something that I think that burns at people sometimes until it gets to that point to be like, I've got to make a change.
A decision, exactly. And I will say too, though, every change that I made and shift that I made, I brought all that with me. So even if you may not start out doing exactly what you want, if you keep working towards it, you're going to get there.
Yeah.
And everything led me really to where I am today.
Yeah. So as far as to this point right now, where did the idea of Studio Ace come from?
So after I graduated from San Diego State, I had actually had right prior to graduation, I had some offers from community colleges to teach. So I was going to go right to that, and then the recession hit
Yeah.
in 2009.
Yeah.
And so no jobs, and so I started volunteering at the Oceanside Museum of Art, and then they actually offered. They said, "Oh, we've received a grant for a children's education program. How would you like to do it?" And I said, "Sure," because it was a job,
Yeah.
and absolutely fell in love.
Nice.
And it was like finally everything that I had done in my life. It's like this clicked, and when you saw these kids' faces come through. So we created a program called Art Quest, which is still going on today.
Okay.
And the students come in from every fifth grader from the Oceanside School District comes in, and they saw the tour of an exhibition, and then they got to make their own art. Then they'd also go home with an art bag to continue doing art afterwards.
Okay.
With it. And so then I was there for 6.5 years, and then I left there when they had a change in direction and went to the Museum of Making Music. So again, saw the kids there. Was also working at the Carlsbad Art District, and did an after-school program. And then it was like, well, if this is what I just loved it so much, this is what I want all the kids to have.
Yeah.
So I created Studio Ace in October of 2016.
Oh wow. So as far as I've got just different friends that they've got an ideal, and people are message me all the time, or they'll give me a call and be like, "Hey, what do you think of this ideal?" When you decided to start something like this, did anyone tell you were crazy?
Yes, absolutely. and a lot of it were like, well, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And I've heard that a lot along the way, that, you can't do that. I'm like, well, I think I can.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is just take the next step.
Yeah.
And just start and see what happens. And, and then the failure leads to success, because there have been many fails along the way.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think just going forward, I mean, all you're doing is, you're falling quicker and quicker. You just, you learn to walk, you learn to run. That's all it is. It's just falling forward.
Exactly.
So as far as those people now that said that, this is crazy, do you still, do they still come up to you like, is this even working, or do you?
I had one gentleman who had known me from the museum, and he was like, "Oh, that's really kind of crazy what you're going to do." And I talked to him a month or two ago, and he actually said, he goes, "I didn't think you could do it." He goes, "But I am really proud to see what you have done."
Yeah.
So that was really nice to hear. And again, to me, I have all the kids behind me going, "You better get this done.
Oh, yeah.
You better, keep moving and do it." So great motivation.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know when I came across it and found out about it. I actually found out about it through the Oceanside Chamber.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I'm like, oh my Lord! I was like, somehow or another, I've got to be able to connect with you.
It's a lucky day for me.
Yeah, some way I'm going to connect with this person, connect with Studio Ace, because I thought it was perfect. It's one of those where, personally for me, I've always felt like the arts, creativity, that's been a huge platform for my life, and real huge as far as what I'm doing now, and where I plan to go 5 or 10 years from now. I've always felt like art has, I think personally, literally saved my life in many times, and that's something that I want to be able to share, with others. And I think with the Creative Brew, this is something that's a platform for me to be able to, show and teach, future creatives or leaders, entrepreneurs, anyone that's, looking to build something, quote unquote crazy, and make it a reality. I think, heck, we can go back to Bezos with Amazon and
Absolutely.
Steve Jobs with Apple, and some of them, Walt Disney, all of them. People thought they were crazy until it became a reality.
And then
then they knew what
Waiting
what was possible. So I think with something like this, I think it was definitely possible. I think it was needed. Especially with kids now, they need the arts. They need those things to be able to express some way or another, their feelings, or or just any gamut of emotions. I really feel like that's definitely needed. We'll go into education in schools. Because that's something that we could probably go on another tangent
Yes.
about that with education. But why do you feel like arts are being taken out of the school right now?
It seems for a lot of people, well, it's not important enough.
Yeah.
It isn't a valid subject. But to me, if you don't teach art, you are not teaching the whole child.
Yeah.
So they're missing a part of their education, and it's not just that. Do you have to be a great artist? No, it's about taking tools, a lot of it, and a blank piece of paper or canvas or cardboard and making it into something. So now you've got critical thinking going on. How do I make this into this? And then there's the whole emotional side of it as well, besides just the fun side. And then is also a way to learn about different things. It just, to me, art is a part of everything. And so learning it, from a young age and having it being, again, whether it's visual art or music or movement or dance, it will help move you through your life.
Yeah. Have you seen? I didn't know if you've been able to measure, as far even with Studio Ace. Have you been able to measure the development of a child with compared to, like, say, if one child isn't going through a certain arts program compared to one that might be going through a certain arts department or program? Have you seen any kind of development, like mentally or emotionally
We
different?
had one example. We did a class out at Stuart Mason. We were there the entire year,
Yeah.
and we did one of the 8th grade classes, and the other class couldn't participate. And when it came to the end, we asked that the teacher said, she goes, they wound up taking a collaborative math test, and the class that we had taught art in, so they had done a play together,
Yeah.
so they all had to work together. Their math scores were incredibly better than the class that did not take art,
Wow.
because they couldn't work together. They didn't
Yeah.
understand that collaborative, because you're usually working by yourself.
Yeah.
So a small example, but again, just what being in a play
Yeah.
could do to your math or science scores as well.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great example. I mean, that's something, even working as a team, and I mean, that goes back to just the social aspect
Exactly.
of art
Yeah.
and being collaborative. I think if kids don't get that, I think coming out of school into the workplace, those things are lacking. Those things are missing in some way or another, to where they can't communicate their feelings, or they can't communicate with
Exactly.
just people in the area. Yeah, that's awesome. So going back to even creativity, the aspect of creativity, how do you feel like it's changed your life?
Again, just that you have the outlet to do it.
Yeah.
I still create art. I don't feel that it would never be I don't know that I'd ever be a producing artist or anything like that. But it really isn't the point.
Yeah.
Because there are some people who are phenomenal artists, and and it's just, but it's also just the joy of doing it. For me, if I'm taking a watercolor class, you're with a group of people, and it also, your brain literally shifts when you
Yes, it
create
does.
art.
Yes, it does.
And so we actually have a model of the brain that we show the kids, and we show them where, this frontal lobe here, that I said, if you feel better or different when you're doing art, because your brain is literally changing.
Yep.
So it's the endorphins, the whatever, the artigens.
Yeah.
Just make you so that you go out, and now when your brain's opened up to something different, you can choose whatever subject next that you want to do, and if it's sports, but you're just clearer inside.
Yeah, I think as far as I know creativity is, and that's something I try to preach, even with the things that I'm doing, but personally, but even like I said, I'm a part-time coach too, and there's I try to hint at a lot of my fighters that I train with, just the aspect of being creative and being able to understand certain concepts. You don't have to understand, there's not a right or wrong way to anything.
Exactly.
You just have to understand concepts, and that allows you to open up to, to larger things.
Larger things.
And I've seen it. I mean, I've trained a few people, and I'll show them, okay, let's work on this, or I'll just explain the simple concept. Now this opens up to 2 or 3 different moves, and then their eyes light up. I'm like, I didn't know I could do that.
Exactly.
So it's one of those to where I mean, I think it's one of those processes that I mean you really can't even explain.
And we, like in our little drawing class for 7 to 12 year olds, the kids all first came in and they got their paper and their pencil and they all said, "Well, where's my eraser?" And our teacher said, "Well, we don't use erasers
Yeah.
here." What? What do you mean? I made a mistake. I'm wrong. And it's like, no, it's like, make joy from what you find is a mistake.
Yeah.
But that's such a bigger life lesson.
Oh yeah.
To learn. And now you see the kids who've been with us for a while and new kids come in and they ask for the eraser. They're like, "No, Miss Karina doesn't allow erasers."
Yeah.
So it's just a neat thing to see that how it translates to other parts of your life.
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned that because some of the craziest inventions and the things that are popular now has been the results of just a crazy mistake.
Exactly.
I know there's like I said, there's all kinds of examples. I know it was one that sort of passes my mind, but there's been, I mean, just all kinds of things that, people have they sit there and they were thinking of something else, and then something happens, and they're like, okay, let's just try this out, and it just explodes.
Yeah.
It's just from that not using the eraser.
Yeah.
And that's something that I know honestly I tend to do. Even when I'm drawing or if I'm designing something, I find myself like, let's start over, let's start from scratch, and sometimes I could come across a solution, even if I'm like working on a logo or something like that, and I can, just sort of let go and relax,
Yeah.
and the solutions just come up quicker
Yeah.
than when I'm sort of forced and I'm like, okay, I need to do this, and like I said, everything gets closed off. I think when I just sort of open up and be like, okay, let's just play around with something and see what happens.
Yeah.
I think usually you get the best solutions because there's no kind of,
Absolutely.
you're not thinking about making the mistake. You're just in the process
Yes.
in that moment. So with Studio Ace, what classes are you currently offering right now?
We offer a variety of classes now, and we turn 8 months tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we're still very young and adding classes all the time. We have drawing classes now for 7 to 12 year olds, and then we just added an intermediate for 9 to 12 year olds, a mixed drawing and painting class. We have adult classes. We have watercolor, jewelry making, sewing. There's also the palette to palette, the sip and paint classes. And then there's other ones that we'll throw in there. We have an art history lecture series that
Yeah.
that I give some of those lectures. Then we have a teen class,
Okay.
we just started that on Friday afternoons, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then we also just started it's kind of we call it our fundraising class. It's a adult craft class where you can come and bring your favorite libation. We have supplies, but you make something for yourself, and then you make something for us to sell at festivals and things like that,
Okay.
to help keep the kids' classes cost low.
Nice.
So it's in trying to, again, ACE actually stands for Arts, Community, and Education.
Okay.
And so that's also part of our community, to get everybody in and having fun and talking to each other again and
Yeah.
getting off the screens.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something that's very, very needed. I mean, we get so addicted sometimes to what's on this right here,
Yeah.
to where sometimes we have to, sort of open up to a broader world. And this world is huge, and
And
sometimes
just to try it.
Yeah.
Just to,
Yeah.
you don't have to be perfect. Is the other.
Yeah.
I think art allows you to make mistakes and experiment
Yeah.
and to do things.
Yeah. So how do you feel? Even because, like I said, I'll keep going back because
Yeah.
I think a big thing, and like I said, even going back to people that went the safe route compared to what their maybe what their gift or what the heart wanted.
Right.
As far as from your perspective, do you feel like even now, do you feel like, okay, because I know I get people be like, hey, I want to do this,
Yeah.
but I have this job. What would you recommend with something like that?
So start with that. Start volunteering on a Saturday morning, even
Yeah.
if it's once a month. Go in for a couple of hours and be with that community
Yeah.
that you want to be with, and things start to happen from there.
Yes.
And like, I found, I'll think, oh my gosh, I really wish I would have this. And then that person will walk through the door, and because things start to come to you
Yeah.
when you just open yourself a little bit more to
Yeah.
that, in whatever field it is.
Oh yeah,
Whatever it is.
I've found that out even doing this.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, like I said, I've been creating all my life.
Yeah.
But I've always been seen, even in sports teams and just any other things. I've been seen as a almost like a quiet leader.
Yeah.
And it's one of those where I've sort of developed to where I'm. I started wanting to motivate others and talking and helping inspire others.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes along the way you get those little hints, and there's sometimes people will tell you, hey, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing that, and I mean, it's one of those where I've had a bunch of times where people have told me, hey, you should be a motivational speaker or something like that, and
Exactly.
and even doing I
Absolutely.
did a speech at the Hall of Fame reception I got inducted to. I had one of the other people that got inducted. They were like, "Well, you inspired me." I mean,
Yeah.
that was so. It's one of those to where those are little things that I've tried to develop along with my creative skills,
Right.
and try to merge everything.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
and like I said, and I don't want anyone. Please, PSA. I don't want you to quit your job.
Right.
And just go and do it. I'm not saying that, but I think what me and what Julia is saying is that you can be practical about it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Go find your community, do it for free, volunteer, and then build up from there. Don't just quit and be like, okay, I want to go do this. No, that's not feasible. That's not practical at all. You've got
And not necessary.
Yeah.
To completely disrupt life,
Yes.
and if you have family and everything like
Yeah.
that, but you can start.
But hey, look, if you've got a job, I mean, you've actually got a platform
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
use that time or
That's great.
use the money from that or a portion of it
Yes.
and funnel it towards your passion project or something you love to do.
Yeah.
Don't just say, no, I hate my job. No,
Right.
you're in that job for a certain reason.
And use it, yeah.
Yeah.
Whether maybe it's your savings account, so
Yeah.
that you can take a sabbatical from it,
Yes.
or use it.
Yep.
Because it's all the skills. Had I not been an investment banker, I don't think it has helped so much in what I'm doing now.
Oh, I bet.
Because now it's all the finances, so
Yeah.
everything, you bring everything with you, which
Yep.
is really cool.
Yep. So what right now, as far as classes with Studio Ace, what things are you offering in the future potentially?
So going forward, we really want to start working more with the home schools as well, and have art for them as the toddler classes.
Yeah.
So really that it's kind of like a pipeline that once you come in, we get you all the way along. But that also starts to start a mentoring program.
Yeah.
So now we have, even in our little camp we just had, the 12-year-olds were helping out the 7-year-olds. And then
Oh, wow.
they move up to, we had this young boy, and he was, kind of being, oh, I'm the oldest and I'm fun, and and the little kids were just, oh, and weren't doing anything. And I pulled him aside. I'm like, dude, you are a great artist,
Yeah.
and just be a leader. And sure enough, by the end we did a little play, and he was down there feeding the little kids their lines,
Yeah.
and they felt so happy, and then it was phenomenal. But then teenagers can mentor them, and then now we're involved with Miracosta College, and they're coming in and helping and volunteering as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's just kind of a whole pipeline of everybody helping everybody down in their community.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
By
I've
lifting them up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this is something that anyone watching this, volunteering, especially if it's something that you love to do, volunteer your time towards something to help
Yes.
others or teach. I think that's been the biggest thing personally for my life.
Yeah.
To where even when I'm teaching more,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm learning too at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
And I've had so much joy from just seeing people light up or feeling like people may be stuck maybe in their in a cradle in their journey, or maybe they're just starting out and feeling like, okay, where do I go from here with my even with people that go freelance or just starting their art career, things like that. I think I think sharing that, I think that helps. That helps others.
question.
Even showing them shortcuts
Yeah.
along the way. I think when you get people like that, you share that information. That information goes to them, and then they're able to share that to others.
And it is that drop the pebble in the pond, and the
Yeah.
ripples. You don't know where they go.
Yeah. Now, going back to the concept of community, do you feel like because I know for a fact, I know Oceanside's trying to become more of a art-centric community.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're trying to drop a pebble in the pond and someone's getting the pebble and throwing it out?
There is that aspect sometimes. But you got to hope for the best, and then you pull your bubble. I'm like, I'm pulling my pebble back in.
Yeah.
And we're going to drop it again and see what happens. Because you do, and you want it to go out, but that's, to me, that's where it's like, well, don't stop. If that venue didn't work and that didn't happen, don't let their negativity affect or anybody's negativity affect what you want to do.
Yeah.
Or what you think you can do. And that's really, a lot of this, I've had another friend who said, some days it's just good just to show up.
Yeah.
And some days are like that. That's the most I can do today. But ultimately, it's just one foot in front of the other.
Wow.
And like the Jurassic Park, the Velociraptor who kept poking at the fence until he found the way out.
Yep.
I'm like, keep poking.
Yep, that's what you have to do.
Poking.
I mean, you got to be persistent. Got to.
Yeah.
What things are you currently inspired by right now?
Really, to me, just seeing all the different people that we've had come in. I haven't done art since high school. I can't do it. Well, yes, you can. And I'm talking, these are seniors. Like, we just had a group of seniors in this morning. And then we had a group of learning challenged adults that come every Friday afternoon. And again, just seeing the way they are figuring it out, and it's like they're whole unto themselves, and where they go with their art is just incredible as well.
Yeah.
So really, for me to see where people take their art, and how it goes, and we just had this little 3-day art camp, and these kids, once it might take a little while to get into it, they'd be a little squiggly, but then you see the click, and it's incredible, and that's my passion. It just drives me to allow opportunities for people to be able to do that.
Wow. So what's one creative tip for our audience that you could give? Something that may help them along their way, something that maybe if someone's at a specific point in their life, what's that one tip that you could give somebody?
Just try something. Pick up a pencil, put it to paper, try a new dance, write a poem, go see a play. Just let your brain shift in some different way with one of the arts, and you will not regret it.
Nice. So where can people reach out to you, or maybe find information about you, or maybe a way to help donate to the organization?
So probably one of the best ways is through our website, which is www.studioace.org, ace.org. You can sign up for our news blast, which goes out once a week, that gives all the classes. They're all listed on there as well. Or come by the studio. We're at 3861 Mission Avenue in Oceanside, next to the Mission branch of the library. We'd love to see you and talk to you. Come in and take a class. Come in and volunteer. We'd love to have you.
Awesome. Well, this has been another great episode. I'll have her back on for another one because we got some more to talk about. So this is Quantel, it's Julia with Studio Ace, and this has been The Creative Brew. Be creative, stay inspired.
Absolutely. Thank you.